Well, I'm here, and I put the title as Talk with a Team Company slash Lease Truck. So we have a longtime friend of mine. We have Steve coming in. Steve, what's going on?
Not much.
So Steve started around the same time I did. It was he a couple months after I did, like maybe 1 month or two after I did, and we've been friends and we've been going through trucking kind of together. We became friends. We kept talking to each other, helping each other out when we needed help on loads and stuff. Steve, what did you do before you came out here trucking?
I just worked rent a center part time for a while. After a few months, I got full time, but the company kept changing. Coworkers quitting, new ones coming in, and it's actually a friend of mine that's like, "Hey, let's go be truckers." And I'm like, "Sure, why not?"
Do you regret leaving Rent a Center?
Nah, nah.
No, I didn't think so.
Just gonna be a trucker, go
So
back to college.
yeah, go back to college. So, since you've been at Prime, you started out and you were a solo driver, correct?
Yeah, solo first 8 months,
For
10 months,
about 8 months,
10. Yeah.
10 months, and then you got Andrew on the truck, correct?
Yep, I had Andrew come on. He pretty much got me together in a way to prepare for team because my dad was coming out to team with me and get his CDL and all that. And yeah, he'll be here in a few minutes. He's just taking care of some things.
So,
And yeah,
so whenever you went from company solo driver to company team, did you notice a pay increase or did the pay stay about the same?
I don't know. It increased. I'd say about 50 to 75% more. Some weeks when it was really good with the miles, it pretty much doubled from my solo times. And team just makes it I don't want to say easier because you both share your own ways. It's 50-50 a lot, but not exactly 50-50 like you think. But being team from solo, as long as you trust who your teammate is, you do sleep better than solo. You don't have to worry about oversleeping. Because if you oversleep, the other one comes in, hey, yep, time to drive. But yeah,
And I feel like you get more of a routine in the team truck. I feel like solo is you might sleep during the day, you might sleep at night, you have no routine.
yeah, that's the key, I would say, in any team truck. You got to set a schedule. You got to set your hours. Some teams work by they just drive their clock out, and then when they're out of time, they switch, and it throws it all off depending on the time zones and whatnot. But if you lock down a time zone and a time, and you just switch right then and there, and you have your bracket where you work, and you know you're done for the day every day. You know when it's your time, when it's someone else's time. Basically, like
So
a
you're
shift.
working like 6 a.m. to 6 p.m., 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., something like that. What's your schedule?
We run 12-hour shifts. 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. would be the day shift. 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. That's the night shift. And I'll do the morning. I'll do the day shift, a.m. to p.m. And basically, whatever happens in those 12 hours is all on me. That's my truck, my say, my go, all that. And then once 6 o'clock comes, we get somewhere to park, switch over. Then everything he takes over, and I know the next 12 hours, especially with sleeper berth, I'm done. I'm off duty. I'm on my own time, do my own thing. And yeah,
How do y'all take resets to get your clock back?
well, you can either do a sit and reset for a 34-hour, like a standard solo driver, or you can do a rolling reset, which a team can do. It's where you basically skip a shift. And if you got your 12-hour shifts on lockdown, you know what you're doing, and you're sticking to your shifts. A rolling reset is really simple. You just skip one drive. So, say you drive for the day, you skip the night, you get parked at the end of the day, wake up the next morning and take off. By the next driver shift the next night, they got to reset and they can go through the night. Fresh clock, and vice versa, day and night.
So pretty much during their shift, so pretty much they sleep for your drive. They wake up, they're at a truck stop park, they go do whatever they need to do, they play video games, whatever they do, and they don't move the truck at all. And then whenever it's time for them to go to bed, it's time for you to wake up for your shift. You drive your shift out and boom, more than a 34-hour reset.
A little bit, yeah. You get that extra like 2 hours on it.
Okay.
But yeah, if we're both low on hours, then we'll just end out the shift or whatever time is left, usually during the day. This way, you get a good spot. And not like the greatest spot in the truck stop, but you get where you're going to be for the night. And if you end up, you got to leave in the middle of the night, you want to leave yourself an out, not to get boxed in by people making their little creative spots. Just leave yourself an out, unless you're leaving at the start of one or the other shift. Then, yeah, you just take off once the resets are done. And it's easier when you're into it. You just count the shifts. It's like, okay, you got 6 hours for tonight. We'll just sit tonight. I'll take off tomorrow. I'll get parked for the day, and you'll have the night off.
How do y'all do showers? Are y'all showering every day? What's up with showers?
I'd have to say we're fortunate enough to basically get a shower every single day. We'll do it in the morning because that's when shower times are less of a wait and there's more available in the mornings. And early morning, since I drive the days, I'll wake up. My shower bag will be packed from the night before. I'll set all my stuff up in there that I know I need. And he'll just get in there, get parked. And then when 6 o'clock pops up on my phone, alarm's going off, I get up, see where we are, how the night went, and we'll get our bags together and then head inside and get a shower and then come back out. And I'll take off for the day.
Okay, so you just make it real quick and you can get a shower every day. Even with how about those tight FedEx loads? Are y'all having enough time to get the shower during those?
We do when we're running top speed. As long as we're running top speed and nothing's really slowing us down or delaying us, then yeah, we'll have an extra hour to spare. We can squeeze in a shower on that. Because at least teaming with a FedEx, it's usually just overnight most of the time. And then you get those long FedExes like California to New Jersey. Those are a little tighter. And depending on how whoever's shift went, if you had a delay or you're stuck for an hour, half an hour, whatever, then you get up and just go. And then another perk of a team truck, on your half-hour break, squeeze in a shower if you really need one. Because you at least you could spare an extra 15 minutes, do a 45 break instead of a 30. And you can squeeze that in if you needed to. But yeah, it's not the end of the world to skip a shower for a day. But I try to keep it clean, try to stay clean as much as possible.
So teaming, like you're in those tight quarters, like you're real tight in there. Like there's not much room to move around. Y'all really get to know each other. So like, has there been any like major arguments and stuff like that? You hear stories of, hey, when you're on a team truck, you're not going to get along and y'all are going to fight and stuff. Like how many arguments have y'all been in? Do y'all argue or are y'all pretty understanding? Hey man, I know you're cranky. I'm cranky. I'm just waking up. Don't even talk to me in the morning.
Right. And you get that with some teams. Fortunately with us, there's a very minimal to no arguments, especially with each other. If it comes out with anything, it's usually with the load we're on. We know if it's getting tight and just everything's not going our way. Yeah, we get a little aggravated, but not at each other because we know enough, that ain't going to help nobody. But that's where it helps. You just write dispatch and be like, hey, we're getting slowed down over here. And they can understand enough to open it up for you. But then you get those shifts where everybody's just getting in your way. It's making your drive uncomfortable. Makes you more irritated. And then when you go in for you want to try to do a fuel 30, or you roll in, get your fuel, and kind of sneak out to a truck stop or a spot, get parked, finish off your break, and everybody's just in your way, and the guy in front of you ain't pulling up, and you're stuck in the bay the whole time. You don't really get to relax for your 30-minute break. And even if you are doing your 30-minute break, you get boxed in somewhere. You're trying to be the nice guy and park in a spot, and then everybody's parking around you. And especially if you're on a tight load, and that's kind of where you, depending on the load you got, where you stop. But now, when it comes to getting irritated and aggravated, you just got to know, just get to the next part. It's not going to help fighting, and that's where a lot of teams will suffer, especially after a little while. You get together, your team, and a month or two goes by, and you're like, yeah, it's the greatest thing. We're making money. We're friends or family, whatever you got going on as a team. And then after a few months, it starts setting in. Somebody's got to start getting their gears turning, going, well, I'm doing more miles. And, we're getting the same pay, or somebody's getting more pay if it's a lease truck. And it starts boiling down to it doesn't feel fair sometimes, because somebody would have to stick with nights, somebody has to stick with days. Otherwise, you trade off each time you do home time. Like if you go out for a month, this month I'll do days, next month he'll do days. Take turns, kind of make it fair with each other. And then you
got
got
to be flexible with your teammate at the end of the day. You got to take turns. You got to be fair with it.
Yeah.
You can't just force somebody in the corner and be like, you have to do nights. That's it.
Right.
You have to be pretty flexible with it. And my biggest complaint was on the team truck I was on was that my teammate, I drove during the day, so I did most of the delivering, the picking up the new load, getting stuck, the detention pay, all that. I got stuck with that. And my teammate, he would really be complaining, man, I did 600 miles last night. I did 600 miles tonight. You only did 200. And I'm all like, bro, really? I did all this other stuff though. Like you can't really look at what your teammates doing and be like, hey, I'm carrying all the weight. You have to look at this as a team. We're a team. We both are carrying the weight here.
Right. And that does come up, and you will, especially if you've been teaming long enough, you'll notice sometimes you'll have a week or two where it feels like all the deliveries are on one of the drivers' shift. You're running that 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. You're getting all the night deliveries, all the dropping hooks, and everywhere you're going for a dropping hook, it's raining, or in the winter, it's snowing. And we've had that a few times where we'll go out and not even get a reset if one of us needs it. We're running on recaps, at least one of us, and it keeps landing where the other one's getting more time off, or the other one's doing more work. And it's not always going to be exactly fair, but the best way to put it is your time will come, whether it's a week or two, but you'll switch up, and you'll be doing all the dropping hooks, all the deliveries, all the backing, sitting in the docks. And that's where it kind of helps your clock the next week, where you won't need a reset. It'll help your time come back and your recaps. But yeah, there's a lot of trade-off with somebody's going to get more than the other, and it could change every week, depending on the load you're getting, dropping hooks and live loads. Because a lot of times I notice with us, we'll have a lot of pickups during the day and a lot of deliveries in the evening. And there's a few times the pickups we've had at night were dropping hooks. So it would fall on him to get there, drop the trailer, pick up the new trailer, do the live load call, and then get moving a little bit. And all I had to do for the whole load was just wake up, drive, and go. And he had to pick it up and deliver it. And, it takes a toll on you when it's back to back to back, And even I've had my days with that, especially in the summer during the day, especially those Tysons with how bad they stink. And,
Now, when you were company on a team truck, did you have problems getting home time, or do you think it was easier to get home time when you were on a team truck company?
I never really had a problem getting home, because the home time I would say was fair, because I never really went home back to back. We would go out for a couple weeks or a month or two at a time. So in a sense, we've earned our home time. They can't really just sit there and say, oh, you need to go home, or you need to stay out. You can't go home yet. We never really faced that problem. And I know home time is a real hot button issue for a lot of drivers, especially new ones. and especially even more so teams where each driver lives somewhere different, especially in another state, and you got to pick and choose who's going home first and driving the truck to their home, or are we just going to share this home time at your place, that home time at my place next, and alternate that way, or just never go home and do your home time at the terminals. But company
That's
side,
hardcore. That's hardcore,
yeah,
man.
some do it. I've talked to a few like that, and yeah, it's just home time was never an issue with us, even when we went lease. Yeah, we like staying out because the longer we stay out, the more money we can make.
Do I have to be in there?
You are now.
She came in anyways.
Yeah.
Are we going live or
Do you
Yes.
not want me to be here? I could go sit up.
Your room's where it's happening, bro.
It's in the other room. You want to go with her?
So have they started yet?
Yes.
Tell her she's on live right now. Wave at the camera.
Yeah. I'll be back in 1 second.
I'll be back.
So I guess Steve's talking to his family. I'm gonna tell everyone hi that's in here. We're gonna go up this list. I've been watching the chat. I've been trying to get the good information from Steve and them. Pegleg's in here. What's going on, Pegleg? Sam. We have Big Bob. Hello, Big Bob. Gene Scott says, "Sup, everyone. Having a great night." Hans is in a snowstorm. Poor guy. Sam Avocado's in here. Nick is in here. Johnson Logic's in here. Sarah's in here. And a lot of people are just saying good evening. I'm reading y'all's chats. I'm just not responding to it because I'm really into this team truck and trying to get out information on company team truck. And then we're about to get into the lease side of team truck. So it'll be interesting to see how a lease team truck works. Like who's the company driver, who's the guy leasing, who's the guy's company, because they moved on to a lease truck. We'll find out what's going on with that. Agent Uber, and Sam's right, Agent Uber, he's going to be the guy that's on the memes on Discord. He drops a lot of memes in there. A lot of people like his memes a lot. They're funny. Chris, what's going on? Chris just got on TNT today. He's going out. He went out with his trainer. They're going to run solo for a week, and then they're about to run the team freight, and he's about to get his TNT miles done. He's getting it moving. Tennessee Flatbedders in here. Unfortunately, I was rarely serious about this live right here because Steve has been such a great friend for many, many years, and I really asked Tennessee Flatbedder if he minds setting this one out. He was so nice, and he was like, yeah, I don't mind setting it out. So I do appreciate that. Make sure y'all are subscribing to his channel. He has a great channel. He's trying to get more content out. So I know a lot of y'all miss seeing his videos and hope that he gets his videos moving and off the ground. He's trying to get back into that, and we're trying to get the premieres so we can, funnel you into, after this live, you'll get the Tennessee Flatbedders videos every Thursday night. It's going to be good. Greenwich is in here. Greenwich, he's in Springfield. He's been hanging out with me. We've been having a great time. He went to the 10-year dinner this week. He said he had a great time. I forgot to ask him what all happened, but he had a pretty good time there. Yeah, Hans, if your guy, Hans is talking about his fleet manager having him drive in the bad weather, and I would tell him the same thing, man. This ain't worth my life. Like, I'm not gonna drive in this bad weather if I don't feel safe. Like, go around the storm, Hans. Go around the storms. Sketch says he needs winter driving this year. It's the whole reason I'm doing training now. And yeah, it's great to get the winter experience now, man. Definitely great to get the winter experience. So there's Steve and Steve. We got the teammate in here.
Yep.
Yep.
So let's see. How are we going to do the difference here? Steve Senior. How about that?
How about Steve and Steven?
So, Steve and Steven. Who's going to be Steven? Because I know Steve as Steve.
Oh, okay. Then do senior and junior. How's that?
All right.
Up to
He
you.
pointed at
However
you
you wanna
when he
do it.
said senior.
You let us know, and we'll oblige.
So Steve Senior, you came to Prime after Steve Junior over there. So what influenced you to switch careers? Because you were at the company you were at for a while, weren't you? Were you close to retirement, or are you vested?
Well, I kind of was. I worked for Coca-Cola. Okay, and I was a merchandiser, and I was there for 13 years. And what led me to go truck driving was two reasons. One was to go help out my son, team with him, make things easier on both of us. And second was the work I was doing at Coca-Cola was getting a little bit too hard. So I needed a job to slow me down a little bit, or not as physical, and plus also with my last job, they cut my pay. So I was looking to get out of there in some which way that could make it better for me. So the opportunity came that my son went out to go drive the truck, and it seemed pretty easy and decent money. So I decided to, go for it at a late age.
Go for it.
Yeah, I never in my wildest dreams would think I'd be driving a truck, even though I like driving big things, but I would never think I would take it as a career. But it was the best thing I ever did.
Best thing. So no looking back to going back to Coca-Cola.
Absolutely not. No, now. And that was a great job just as well. I mean, I had no problems there. They loved me. I loved them. It was a simple, easy job. It just got too physical. I was getting too old, and so the trucking thing, it just worked out perfect.
Yeah, just don't let those flatbedders know that it's not that physical. We're still out there working hard. I got a lot of flatbedders in here, and they be always talking trash that reefer doesn't work hard. We work hard.
Oh, we work hard, but it's it's not as physical. That's the thing is I think we need more skill. As a reefer versus a flatbedder. That's my thought.
So what's the goal? Are you have like a truck drive for 10 years and then I'm gonna go ahead and retire, or like what's your goal to get out of trucking?
All right. Well, my goal is to retire naturally at a lot easier pace than what I was going, and still stay on board with the trucking because it can't be done at an older age. So, and just bring it down to, instead of a full-time type of thing, do a couple of months on with the trucking, then take a couple of months off and stay home, because you get bored. I'm sure you do. I'll be retiring in like 7 years or something like that, 8 years, whatever the age is. I don't even know anymore, but I'm 58. So I only got whatever it takes to retire. And then from there, I just want to stay on board and help out my son as a extra for him, basically.
Yeah.
Sound right?
Yeah, that sounds good, because then you'll be retired, he'll have his own truck, and whenever you get bored at home, hey, I'm going out over the road with you.
Right. And I could do it for a couple of months and then stay home for a couple of months. There'd be no necessary, gotta work, gotta go crazy. I gotta pay the bills because I'll be retired.
Yeah, it'd be more like a hobby.
Yeah, to help out and just to keep myself busy. You need to do something after you retire. So was it hurt to go drive a truck? I mean, it could be done by any. You see the guys out there that can barely walk and they're still driving a truck. So
yeah, I seen a flatbedder using a cane walking up, and he would hook his bar on there and lift himself up, and I was like, wow, man, that guy's out there still doing this. It's like,
especially with.
So what happened, Steve? Steve Jr.? What happened? Why did you go lease from company if everything was going so great? Company teaming.
Well, being company, it has its limits. And there's only so much you can do. And at the same time, the position we were put in was there was a lot of slowdown with the freight, and we were real limited by our loads. Doing a lot of sitting around, getting our back-to-back resets and all that. So we kind of figured, well, at least Lease, we don't have to run the miles as hard, because being the company side, we needed miles, and all the loads we were getting were short. A couple hundred miles here, maybe 1,500 to 2,000 miles for the week. That's good for a solo driver, not a team, especially when your rate is on the mileage. So we figured might as well just give Lease a try. It's one thing Prime had was a good walk-away lease program. So if it didn't look good after a few months, just be like, okay, tried. You go somewhere else, try something else, do something else.
So you leased the first truck you leased it, and your dad was the company driver, correct?
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, I went on as signing the lease so he could stay company and he could still get the company benefits. Because going company to Lease, you lose your company
insurance,
benefits, insurance, all that.
vacation pay, sick pay.
You give up all your company perks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so it'd be easier for him to stay company and get the benefits and the health care and all that. I'd go get my own. And he still gets cent per mile, whereas I get revenue from the truck, and he gets paid for my revenue, depending how good the truck goes that week. Revenue wise, all the miles get calculated up, and then comes out after the truck payment and fixed costs. His miles come out, and then the rest comes to me, and then from that goes to taxes and whatnot. But yeah, it can be done team, lease, and company. And then some other drivers can do a split lease, but that's for if you're really, you're going to succeed as a team and really stay together through it. Mostly for like married couples or couples in general. They know they're going to be together on it.
I was told that they weren't doing the split lease no more because it was causing too much issues with people splitting the lease.
Right.
One of the people couldn't keep the truck and finish the lease, so I heard that Prime did away with it.
Well, they recommended that when we actually went Lease, because we told them we want to split everything down 50-50. And the Abacus was the one that told us, do us a favor. He says, like 99 out of 100 do not stay together. And it's a bigger issue to try to split the lease after you joined it as a 50-50. So, that's when he recommended one go company and one stay lease. And it was easier on their end. They said just as well, because like I say, majority of them do not survive, the lease together, because team, it's hard to find two people that can get along and stay getting along. We're doing it almost 5 years. Find a team that lasted that long. It's a miracle. And there is trouble between a father and son, or husband and wife, or brother and brother, cousin and cousin. They wind up somehow fighting. And it's difficult, to keep it going. So that's when they suggested just to split. And that's why I stayed company. And I grabbed the benefits while I'm at it. So it works out pretty good.
Yeah, because the biggest problem you're going to have doing a split lease down the middle is when one does want to walk away from it. They got to redo the whole lease, the contract. It throws everything up, and you're basically starting a fresh lease again. And you're not really getting those lease completion benefits and whatnot. It throws a wrench into it all. And it's just more paperwork, especially on the company side.
So what's kind of a fair pay cent per mile for a company driver to jump on a lease truck? What's a fair cent per mile?
Match.
Look, he's looking at you with eyes all open, like, oh, let's hear this. How much is fair, buddy?
Well, you got to understand, I'm the father, he's the son, and I'm helping. I'm helping it. I'm helping out my son. Okay, I'm trying to make it easier for him. I'm at the end of my line. He's at the beginning of his line. So, But as for fair, I mean, what I take wouldn't be considered fair. That's what you consider a father helping a son. Okay, so that throw that out the window. But as a fair price, I guess just basically what they would pay as a company driver.
You'd want to match it to
Yeah,
how
at
the
least-
company runs the truck, because
Right. you
then
would-
again, even though say you'd want to average 28 to 30 cents a mile for the company driver, that sounds good some weeks, bad other weeks.
Yeah.
Because the truck goes by revenue. Say you only do 1,000 miles for the week, but you get $8,000 in revenue. That's only
But-
1,000 miles.
as a company driver versus the lease owner up, or in this position, when it comes to overtime, layoff, late was it all that other extra money you can get. Detention,
truck order.
yeah,
not
all that.
used,
Now
no
that's up to
overpay,
the
shop.
owner of the truck because he gets the whole kit and caboodle. There, it would be up to him to split it with that driver. Say he were to take on a
Wow.
right. See, I don't take it. Like when we get detention, he gets it all. Or if we get any kind of anything extra other than the miles that I get, or if he gets, am I screwing this up?
The company driver just gets the flat
It's
cent
flat,
per
right?
mile.
Right.
No bonuses, no extras, anything of that goes to the
Right.
truck, and it's up to the leaser to take that bonus and split it
Split
in
it.
half or
Right.
hand over a certain
Right.
percent.
So
of
when it comes to basically, we're sitting there for 2 nights, and the truck is getting detention, or he's getting a truck order, not tono
Not
truck
used.
order, not whatever.
Yeah.
Okay, that all goes straight right to the owner up, and it's basically up to him to split it with the company driver because it's basically even. But I don't take that. Naturally trying to help him out. All right. And so it changes things, you know what I mean? Because that's where when it comes to a team, it gets complicated. Really,
Yeah.
it does.
and that's pretty much the point of team. Yeah, you're team load, team truck, but you also got to work like a team. Somebody's going to take more, somebody's going to take less. You got to be
Right.
kind of fair or okay with it with each
Right.
other.
Who's driving
And
nights?
There's still ways to do straight up 50-50, but it goes week by week.
Yeah.
Depending on your revenue and your miles.
Right. You guys have to get along. Number one. Number two is, it probably turns into you're doing more, I'm doing more than you, or I'm doing the nights, you're doing the days, or you're doing all deliveries, I'm doing all just the driving. It could get brutal, and that's where the fights, I guess, begin because now all of a sudden somebody thinks they're doing more than the other guy, or who's stuck
Yeah.
driving at night, or you got to come to a compromise, and I think that's where it gets a little rough, right?
Yeah, it starts getting personal. If somebody wants a little more than somebody else is getting easier.
Yeah, they feel the other one's doing less than what they're doing. That's
Yeah.
where it can get heated.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you have to realize it's a team truck and y'all have to work together and get it done. I've been there. I know what that feels like. Like my teammate was always saying, "Man, I'm doing all the miles. You ain't doing nothing." I'm all like, "Dude, I'm doing all the deliveries and stuff. What are you talking about? I'm doing I'm checking in, all this stuff. Like you're just driving all night. Like, there's a difference. Nighttime, you can really put in some miles. During the day, sometimes you get stuck in that traffic and stuff.
Plenty of it.
And even though, say you do a load and you both have the same clock at the end of it, but
Yeah.
you got 250 to 200 mile difference
Right.
between each other, and that's depending on what cities you're going through at what times. That's all about timing.
Yeah. And so you finished one. Did you complete your lease and get the lease bonus on your first truck?
Yes, the first truck that we turned in our company truck went lease, took one off the board, and completed its lease. Yeah, and we got.
And now you're doing the Ace lease.
Yeah, when we finished that last lease, and what brings me back to company side, lease side, was changing trucks. And you know how it is to change a truck. Everything you got to move over.
Hate it.
Take
I
a
helped
walk.
you move into your Ace lease truck.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
I did a little bit. I stood in between the trucks and handed stuff across
Right.
for a little bit.
How big of a help that was. you know,
It'll climb in and out, up and down.
up and down. Yeah.
And it's even worse for solo. But part of my intention for Ace Lease was to kind of just get rid of that. Keep this truck longer instead of every 3 years or 2 years, whichever comes first. Instead of changing trucks so often, it's more of a home on wheels. Everything's going to stay there until the truck has to get changed. But
So Ace Lease means at the end of the lease, the truck is yours, right?
yep, after you do a final payment and then no more truck payment and all yours, and it's a few extra bucks a week. That doesn't have to go to a payment, and you get to keep it as long as you can maintain it. You know, especially when the warranty runs out, it's up to you to do the repairs and pay the cost of repairs if you ain't got the warranty. And in the end, it's, you know, you can look back on it at 1,000,000 miles and go, yeah, this odometer has a whole 1,000,000 miles on it that we did, and it's still our truck. I'd rather pay the cost of a rebuilt engine than start a whole new lease again.
So a lot of guys say that they don't want to do TNT because they're buying their truck, they're Ace leasing their truck, and they don't want to put all the miles on it. Are you worried about putting all the miles on it, running it as a team truck until you pay it off?
No, some people, I guess, would be finicky about their odometers and how much work the truck's doing. But if you keep up with your PMs and at least keep up with cleaning it every day at the end of your shift, give it a quick dusting, or once a week when you get a reset, if you're lucky enough to get one every week, you know, wipe the floors. You keep up with that, it will last, and it'll take you further than. I'm trying to think. It'll make you go farther than doing a straight lease because you get to keep it as long as you maintain it. It will last, and when it comes to the miles, yeah, people are it's getting
They're
high
afraid
mileage.
of that, and they're afraid of the warranty.
Yeah,
But when you start balancing it out, that we have a truck payment, yes, maybe it's almost $1,300 a week, okay, just for 3 years. So at the end of the 3 years, that $1,300 payment goes away. That goes into our pocket. So you're looking at almost $5,000 a month. Okay, so your chances, you know, everybody's concerned with having a warranty on the truck because yes, it is expensive when things happen, but you're not paying that $1,300 a week. Okay, it goes away, and you might go 6, 8, 10 weeks before you have a problem that might cost you $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, and it's still cheaper to take that risk, I think, you know, to fix what's wrong with the truck at the time, unless it's like a $50,000 job. But you know, the lease purchase, you benefit. It's an investment. It's a 3-year investment, and after that, you start really reaping the rewards. And then, like I say, if there's an issue down the line, you know, you pay it because you save that $1,300 a week for all them weeks, and it adds up on top of your pay.
Yeah, your best bet, once the truck payment goes away, at least take half of what the payment would be, put it extra towards your E-fund to prepare for breakdowns, because the cost of a breakdown repair would still outweigh, between breakdowns, the cost of a weekly lease payment.
At that, you know, on the average, maybe $1,250 or $1,200. You know, go low end. You know, it adds up. You know, $1,200 a week comes to almost $5,000 a month. And so, you know, if you got to, you know, say it's say $5,000 a month. So in 3 months, you got $15,000 you didn't spend, and you're coming upon little
$1,500 repair bill.
$1,500, pay it because you're already ahead of the game. And a lot of people just don't see it that way. I don't understand why. They're all concerned with having a warranty on the truck, which I get, but you know, that truck payment went away, and you know, it's free and clear.
Yeah, a lot of them will spend what they're making extra before.
That's what I was about to say. A lot of people don't have the willpower and the what's it called? The self-control to not spend that extra money, though. That's the big problem.
Yeah,
they think they got to raise and pay.
Yeah, they'll see like an extra $1,200 every week. Yeah. They got to think, oh, where can I spend
a lot of money?
$1,200. I'd at least pay. Yeah, I'd at least take half of it, make it 600, and
Put it away. Save
gotta
for a
have
rainy
any
day.
fun. Yeah.
You got to think like that, and a lot of guys don't. The younger generation just spend everything they get. They think they will always have an income following. It's just, and you got to put some stuff away, man. There's always a rainy day. Yeah, we say that.
Always. You always have to look for put money back for what's going to happen. A lot of people don't do that. I always say, hey, put about 3 months of what it would take to survive for 3 months. At least have that in the bank. Sketch right here says, are y'all running as an LLC or under your own names?
We're doing an LLC for the truck that I manage because he's staying company. You're better off with an LLC versus your own name, because especially when it comes to, say, you get into an accident and unfortunately it's your fault, then if you're running the truck under your own name and social security number and whatnot, you're responsible for if the victim wants to sue and come after you personally. So instead of getting the truck and your assets to your LLC, having one personally, they'll come after your house, your own savings, whatnot. But when you run under an LLC, say something like that comes up, you separate yourself from that situation. So all they can get would be anything tied to the LLC asset wise. If you had multiple trucks,
Protecting your personal.
Yeah, you got.
Can't they still get you civilly?
Possibly, depending on the situation. If you went out of your way to do or cause an issue, then possibly yes. But if it was an honest mistake or just unlucky timing of everybody, then it does protect you in that way.
Do you guys use proper bathrooms? Do y'all stop at truck stops and use bathrooms? Do y'all go in bottles? Do y'all go in cups? I know Steve Jr.
Yeah. Well, when you gotta go, you gotta go. So, fortunately enough, you're never more than at least an hour from a truck stop.
Depending on how you can hold it. The older you are, the harder it is. Believe me. So, yes, we do use proper bathrooms when we can. If not, then it's peeing in a bottle. And in the worst case scenario is pulling over and, crawling under the trailer and doing your number 2. I mean, it happens. I mean, there's times you can't hold it, and that's it.
Yeah, you always want to keep a couple empty bottles handy in case you're also stuck in a storm or blizzard.
And wipies.
And baby wipes are a big plus.
One wipe Charlie's.
Hey, survival. Hey, it's not like you could walk from your home and you're on your couch and you got to go, and it's a 10-step walk to your bathroom. It's just not.
Try having to go out to your car, drive into the next town, cross a bridge or two.
You're sleeping and you got to get up, get dressed.
Yeah. Jump out in the ice cold and have to walk to the truck stop or raining or hailing outside.
That's nature of the beast. So
they try to, but they can't always do that. Greenwich says, do y'all switch driving shifts ever so often, or you set on driving doing nights and the other one doing only days?
Yeah, we kind of stick to the same schedule each time we go out. That's how we've been doing it the last 5 years. And he'll do the nights, I'll do the days, and it works for us because for him, it's easier at night, less traffic, and more steady pace. And then during the days, I'm pretty much going through LA, Atlanta, Nashville, Memphis, all that. And it could be stressful, but I could handle it a little better. Just let the traffic go, stay with it. And when he goes through at night, he just gets to cruise right through. Yeah, probably still with the cruise on most times.
We do 12-hour shifts. We live off the Central Time where our company's located, and then whatever happens from 6 in the morning to 6 at night is his responsibility, and then at 6 at night, at 6 in the morning is my responsibility. Whether it's driving, delivering, or picking up, or whatever the deal is, those 12 hours are mine to do whatever happens. Yeah. We just stick to that, and it actually works, which I don't mind driving at night. It is a lot better and a lot easier, but staying awake becomes a problem, and you learn to deal with it. But the daytime is more stressful. So, but it works for us, it works.
And the 12 hours,
as long as you have a system that works for you guys, it doesn't matter because it works for you guys. You found out the way that works best for you. Greenwich says, very true, senior. Age is not your bathroom buddy.
What does that say? Very true, senior. Yeah, well, there you go, At least they'll find out when they get older, the younger generation out there.
Yeah, I'm finding out because I'm having to use the bathroom a lot here lately. Russell, 1,300 week comes to 202,800 in 3 years.
Right.
That can roll over to more equipment if you choose. He did the math to pretty much you could buy a new truck every 3 years is what he's pretty much saying.
Which is basically a straight lease over and over again.
Right.
You turn it in, you get another lease, you get new and all that.
Why do that?
Yeah. If the truck's still running, like our last truck, I would have loved to kept that truck. We brought it to 617,000 miles. We had to extend the lease on it twice while we were waiting for this lease purchase truck to come in. And it ran great. Only ever had one engine light that came on. That was a hassle, but it was a computer malfunction. Ever since they changed it, never saw an engine light again.
Juan says, I couldn't team personally for long term only because I couldn't trust my partner driving right while I am asleep.
I get that. I get that. Yes, you gotta actually trust your teammate.
Yeah, trust is
you taught Junior how to drive a car. You trust that? You put some good skills in his hands?
Well,
you let his mom teach him to drive a car.
No, well, here's the thing. Yeah, as you get older, you look to do less. Trust me when I tell you. And I even to this day, if we go out, he does all the driving, even in the car. When we're home and on home time like we are now, I hate it. I don't even drive anymore. I just all rely on him. But
he trusts your driving, Steve.
Yeah, of course I do. He's my son. I would hope he would take care of me. So
Russell says, Greenwich, as you get older, my belly gets bigger and my bladder gets smaller.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Tennessee Flatbedders testing Gene at 8 a.m. in the morning.
At least we
Greenwich is testing his guys again. Sam says, good luck on your students. And Russell says, I have one testing on Saturday. And I have one testing on Saturday also. What y'all got for the new guys coming out here thinking about doing trucking and maybe thinking about being a father-son team? Is it going to be worth it?
Financially, yes.
Yeah.
If you can make it work, the financial end of teaming outweighs anything. It's incredible, really. So, I wouldn't have it any other way. I will not drive solo because there's more work, more responsibility for less money when it comes to solo. With a team, you're two heads working together. It's a nonstop. It just works. There's less parking issues.
It's a lot of peace of mind too,
especially
when your other driver is competent enough that you can, okay, we're delivering tonight. He knows what he's doing. I could just sleep right through. I don't have to wake up to make sure he's getting in the dock.
Got to find the trust.
Making sure he's finding the right way down the streets, reading his macros, knowing where he's going. I could just fall asleep on a Tyson load and wake up the next day on a Walmart load and go, load changes. We got a new load.
It's all done.
Yeah, you wake up and it's done.
You got to make sure your teammate knows what he's doing, that you could sleep. I guess it's trust and responsibility.
Yeah, and it's also a benefit too, because if you do get in a situation, take a wrong turn, or you gotta park somewhere temporarily while taking care of something, just be like at least when you get that shift change, just because you switch doesn't mean it's 6 o'clock, jump in the back, jump in the front, close the curtain, two different worlds.
Not like
You
that.
can still hang out an hour or two or
Yeah,
three.
you got some company.
You know what's going on, and you just kind of jump in the back, get about 7-8 hours, and come back out. And you get points, especially when like say our load delivers at 8:30 or 9 o'clock at night. Oh, okay, it's only 3 hours after shift change. Might as well hang out, check the place out. Ain't been here before, and you get that teamwork kicking in. Going, okay, yeah, there's the guard shack. There's where you're checking, and one checks and the other stays in the truck in case you never know. You might be blocking someone, and you got to move the truck out of the way real
There's
quick.
always access.
It helps. It
Accessibility.
makes it easier.
Sketch says, my nephew expressed interest in driving, and we talked about teaming. Yeah, so money would be good, but how much stressful is it when you're teaming with family? Now, Steve, do you feel like your bond between you and your son has grown stronger since you have been teaming with him, or do you think that you just want to knock them out sometimes?
No, because actually, I kind of let him have the rule of the roost, more in control. I'm there to be the muscle, and I guess you could put it this way.
He called you weak.
Well, the thing is, like, when you got two heads bashing together trying to be the leader, it's not going to work. So one has to kind of be the strong arm of it, or the leader, and I let him do that. I let him control, let him make the decisions.
Yeah, like
And
when it comes
I'm just
to
a worker for him, but I could do that again because I am older and I'm not power hungry or anything at this point. I don't need nothing but just to go out there and work, make a few bucks for myself, take care of my house bills, and I let him control the truck end of it, all the decisions. Not all, but we talk about it. But I let him have the major say, and that's key because when you got two, I think I could do better, and this one thinks he could do better. There's where the clashing starts, and so. Like what that guy asked about having his nephew on a truck and family, if you guys get along or if one could absorb more than the other, yes, it would work out fine,
But because like when it comes to you get a pre-plan for a load, you got to look at it and go, this is going to LA and it delivers on your shift. Who's got to bring it in? What do you got to go through? You got to start planning ahead just by the pre-plans,
Yeah.
Like every time we get that Carson General Mills,
Mhm.
we know it's going to be open till midnight no matter what ETA we give them. It's easier to go in at night, park up in Barstow or Hesperia.
But someone has to kind of be in control, and the other person that just will accept that. You know what I mean? But if you both want to be in control, that I think will be a problem in my eyes as a team, family or not.
Too many Chiefs, not enough Indians.
Well, in a way, yeah, yep, and that's where it becomes a problem because everybody wants to control. The power is what they want. Money comes first, and power is second. Do you have
a type of relationship where you still enjoy hanging around each other when you're not on the road? Do you need to get your separate ways to recuperate?
I understand the
I
question.
said a big word. Y'all should be proud of me.
Good for you, man. But yeah, anyway, no, we do things together. It's an amazing thing. Honestly, it truly is. When we go anywhere, whether it's shopping or even just getting the car fixed, it's like we're stuck together. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and we ever got to go to Walmart or something, I'm going to Walmart. You want to come?
There you go. We go together. It's a tight bond. I mean, we get along. Thank God. We're like friends. Really, more so. Yes, father and son. I get it, but we're friends. We get along
Yeah, y'all are super close, and it's always been like a pleasure whenever I get to get y'all both out to go out and eat with my family and stuff. Like I don't take just anyone around my family, and I've had y'all all the way to the house. So like, y'all are great people. Y'all get along awesome. Like y'all really have a tight bond together, and everyone can see it just hanging out with y'all.
Yeah, we do things together.
Jacob says he couldn't agree more. Definitely needs to be an alpha and a beta. Two alphas don't work.
That's it. So you got to decide which one's going to be.
Yeah, and you have to have that give take too. With that being said, so sometimes the beta has to ask the alpha for something, and the alpha has to be caring and like, hey, you know what? Okay, we can do this. There has to be some flex there also. So it's really hard to say it's both alphas because, you got one guy that's going to take charge and one guy that's going to follow along. But the guy that following along, he might need something. So you have to listen to the other guy and help him out too.
Yeah, somebody has to be in charge, basically. Just like anything, just any company, you have your manager, then your department manager. Somebody has to be in control or in charge. And you got to find whoever it's going to be, and go to that. Like I say, I ask him questions left and right. He runs it. So I what are we doing? Where are we going? What do you need me to do? Blah blah blah. And I let it be because somebody, somebody has to kind of be in the alpha.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And how about that COVID, man? That COVID really scared us with you guys, man. That was a trip with y'all.
Yeah.
How bad was that? That was scary.
Yeah.
Elaborate.
COVID set back a lot of things personally, and just changed. Good was 6 months of everything.
It affected our lives tremendously, honest to God, because we wound up COVID at the same time. Okay. I wound up out of work for 2 months, and he wound up out of work for 5 months. We were in the hospital for a week, and we were both in the hospital. He was in for 6 days. I was in for 5 days. He had a couple of days in ICU. But the problem that came out of that was, we were home and the truck wasn't moving. And without that truck moving, we're not making money. So what took us 3 or 4 years to save up what we saved, the next few months wiped us right out. And it was horrible, and going through the COVID itself, that we wound up in the hospital with blood clots, and it was a trying time, made it through it, and we're still recouping. We're still trying to get back, ahead. We're still behind the 8 ball, and it's a year later. So that was a difficult time for sure.
Yeah.
And Steve Jr., you've always been good with money, and you always have been good with saving your money. And like I don't think that you were ever where you couldn't make your payments of anything during that whole time. And you were out for a while. And I don't think it set you back some, but since you were so good at saving up money and, being responsible with your money, I don't think that it financially broke you.
It's
a long time out of work.
Yeah, it did get close. What really saved everything was the e-fund with the truck, continuing that payment while we weren't moving, even though it took me my entire lease to save up that amount. Being out for a couple months, that brought it down to actually a couple $100 left when we finally got back up and running like normal. But yeah, budgeting and financial stability, I guess would be the right word.
Well, of course.
That will go a long way because you always got to prepare for something like that. I always got a few extra in other accounts.
Money away for a rainy day.
Yeah.
Instead of blowing everything you make and on that week, put a little bit away each week instead of running out by the computer. Wait a couple of weeks, build up the,
When
have
when
money
we
for a
got
rainy
sick,
day.
the first thing I did was when I got the call from my dispatcher saying FMCSA says you can't come back for 90 days because blood clot in an organ. First thing I did was, before I started spending any money on anything, I looked up my next 3 months worth of bills and just paid them in advance, and an extra month on top of it all, just to make sure I don't got to worry about no payments, and I can see what I got left and balance out gas for the car, food for the fridge, and in case it became longer.
And Prime could not separate you during this time, right? Like there was no threats of separating you. Was Prime Inc. kind of considerate with everything going on? Did they help you out? Did they call you? Did they check on
They
you?
called every day, every other day, between dispatch, the Trinity Healthcare in the basement at the Millennium Building. They were always checking in and wanting follow-ups. And if I didn't call, like if I said, yeah, I'll talk to you tomorrow and let you know if they didn't hear from me, they give me a call and be like, yeah, what's going on? You feeling good? Yeah, even when I was sick, when I was in the hospital, and even through my recovery, they were kind of with me the whole way. And yeah, I'm not sure if it would have been different if I didn't have the E-Fund to cover the truck, but I'm sure they would have make an exception. Just like I think Prime's policy is 59 days, and then they like terminate you from the books. They extended it due to the blood clot and FMCSA. Federally, I could not drive, so they had to hold my position. But I came back on the 90th day. They went for 90 days of my admission from the hospital. The 90th day, I was on a load, at least to get to Springfield, and the doctors wanted to check me out themselves and evaluate me and give me ideas for my post-COVID recovery. And I came back home for about another month or two and just recouped. But yeah, they were fairly helpful through the process.
Good. How does the slow winter months affect y'all's team truck?
Well,
Winter's not that slow.
Yeah, they say freight slows down in the winter, and I'm sure it does, depending on between reefer, flatbed, tanker, and all that. But at least for a team truck, it don't slow down too much because it's still got to get moved. If anything, you get to pick up a soloist load and shoot it across the west and drop it a day early.
We have the availability to do a solo load or a quick load that is behind, or a late pickup, or reload that a driver ran out of hours. We're there just to pick up the pieces. So really, it's effective being team because they know you can move product quick.
And the only thing that's going to slow us down in any way in the winter would be the weather. We've been shut down in Cheyenne for 2 or 3 days because the whole 80 was closed down.
Everybody around there is, so we're not alone.
Yeah, but other than winter, everything still kind of flows like normal. If anything, maybe we might get an extra day off a week, squeeze in a reset here and there, or we get a load where we're like, well, we're not going to be 24 hours early, but we'll be half a day early, and then we could kind of just take our time getting there.
Did you think about trying to get one of those PPP loans during the pandemic?
No, I didn't really consider it because although I am kind of running a business, we were still active during the pandemic. It's not like we had to shut down. Yeah, that was more for smaller businesses, franchises, whatnot that lost customers and lost revenue. If anything, during the pandemic, we increased because they needed more freight moved, and we actually did a COVID load. We took vaccine vials. It was 39,000 vials. Yeah, we ran one of those loads. Yeah, we did a lot of pharmaceutical loads through the pandemic.
Yeah, we were busy
before we got sick. Yeah. Yeah, there was no slowdown with FedEx, mail.
That's where y'all got the COVID from the COVID virus y'all were carrying in your trailer to be delivered.
All I know
Yeah.
is we picked it up in either Russellville,
Yeah.
Arkansas, or Atlanta, Georgia. So those were the only 2 stops we made on the way
Way
home
home.
when we noticed we were getting
We were
sick.
headed home on home time.
Yeah.
Oh man. Are y'all able to cook on the truck, your breaks, or do you eat a lot of fast food?
It's kind
You got
of
a professional chef right there, man. Bread
Uh,
bakery.
Yes, but cooking on a truck is not like cooking in the kitchen. You have no running water, number one, and number two is the truck is constant. If we, I put it this way, the guy asked if during breaks. The thing is, we don't take long breaks because the truck is constantly moving between, night driving, day driving. We stop for half an hour. So cooking on the truck while it's moving is very difficult because of the vibration and the bouncing. But we cook as much as we could on the truck to avoid eating out at fast food restaurants. So it's a 50-50. I mean, we try.
and usually knowing what's coming up where we're going can determine, like, say we're going through Oklahoma City on this next load and we're going to be half a day early. We got time to stop. We'll stop at that TA at exit 140 and get some fazoli's for the night.
Right.
Something unique because everywhere's got a Subway. Almost everywhere's got a Wendy's, McDonald's. When there's a unique fast food or local restaurant near where we're going, if we got the time, we'll try to swing that for the night, make it easy, not have to cook and then clean everything. But usually if we're sitting for a rolling 30 or we're just half a day early somewhere and we park up outside the delivery or pickup, we'll cook something on the truck. We'll get the pots, pans, boil water, all that.
Yeah, it's all microwavable, whatever it is. It works. You can make it work, but that's only if the truck is sitting for a decent amount of time.
Steve's the king of Taco Bell. He can tell you where there's a Taco Bell every state, every interstate, everything. King of Taco Bell over there. I know he loves his Taco Bell. Bo says late to the party. What division do y'all run?
Reefer.
Do y'all run whatever loads that y'all are dispatched on, or do you have favorite loads that you like to wait on?
We have our favorites.
We do, but we take anything. Money's money.
We
moving is moving.
Very rarely do we reject a load.
Yeah.
If we do, it'd have to be a really good reason. Mainly would be like, say we're going home and they want to give us something going west when we need to go east. And we'll be like, no, give us something else. Otherwise, if there's a huge blizzard going on somewhere,
try to avoid
in the plains and they want us to kind of go in that direction as it's hitting, that's a good way to go. Now I'm going to reject this one, give me something else.
Usually on the back end, if we take a load that isn't paying all that great, somehow they reciprocate with a better paying load that follows.
Yeah, if you trust in your dispatcher, it might be, you might raise an eyebrow on the load and go, this don't look all that great, and you can call them and message them, but they'll most likely tell you, it's not the best, but
we're getting you to a better load.
Yeah, where you're going, you're going to get something that'll make up for it. And
we hear that story all the time, but is it true?
Yeah.
For us, yes.
It is.
We rarely, maybe once in a while, we'll get it where it'll be a not too good load and then another not too good and go, okay, that's 2 in a row. Then it'll lead to like a high val or FedEx, and then it'll start like a string or just back to back on something.
I mean, it's up and down with everything. You got to take the good, you got to take the bad. It's simple. I mean, you can't have it all. You can't have good after good after good after good after good.
Yeah.
It just ain't happening for anybody. You got to take those bad, shitty loads just to get the better loads, and
you got to share.
Yeah.
What's the high val? What's a high val load?
Oh, high val's
pharmaceutical.
Yeah, high value, which would be multi-million-dollar loads. Even loads that are real time sensitive, not even if it's that. Well, some of them are expensive, but they're just higher value, so
they're targeted loads by pirates that are actually watched. It's secrecy loads basically.
There's more protocol to it. It's not just as simple as go pick it up and bring it here.
Yeah, it's not
some are you can pick it up, but every single time you stop, you got to send the message.
Check in that you're stopping.
Yeah, you're
for how
stopping
long.
here, how long,
Yep.
and exit number, truck stop,
Right, they want the
almost
whole
down to what spot you're in. And especially the higher level high vals, you'll have Freight Watch, where you got to call a number, and they're constantly watching you every second on GPS, knowing what road you're on and when.
You got to follow the route that they give you.
Yeah, and you
know,
take the wrong exit,
it's a
they're already
watch
calling you.
load. Yeah, they want to monitor it because they feel you'll have to drive for 200-300 miles before you stop.
Yeah, most high vals.
Make sure nobody's following you.
Yeah, even if it's a level 1 to a level 5, as soon as you take off, 200 miles before you can even really think about stopping.
Yeah, which is 3 to 4 hours of driving.
Yeah.
So
Is the pay good on it?
Oh yeah, it's a higher pay.
Yeah,
there's more involved. You're being tracked, you're being watched. So I guess they compensate it, with the higher pay because it's a high val load. You're taking $1 million, $2 million load.
Sometimes 10 million.
Sometimes 10 million.
Especially the pharmaceuticals.
So they're targeted loads by pirates.
Yeah, it's like a
They
higher
can't throw you $1 million on that load for taking a $10 million load.
God forbid. God forbid, Yeah.
They even give us a piece of it,
I mean, God, it's an extra few $100.
Yeah.
Not like
I just made $1 million, ran one load that went 600 miles. What now?
Putting our lives at risk. That somebody could come and rob the truck for just a few $100 more than a regular load. But that's the nature of the beast, Hey,
It's pretty intense on those high value loads. You always got to watch and make sure no one's following you. Can't stop for 200 miles. Every time you stop, there's extra paperwork. Is the money at least enough to deal with all of that headache?
Compensate?
Most of the times it is,
Yeah.
Especially when it's a short one.
Yeah.
I mean, even though the pay is good, there are some high vals where you got to look at it's annoying, especially at coast to coast high val. That's the most annoying. They're watching everything you do every time you stop. And it's not just okay, just the rest of today and into tomorrow. No, it's the rest of today, tomorrow, and the next day.
Sure.
And you're just they're just watching you.
You're on home time, man. Enjoy yourself.
And I do.
You're on home time. Enjoy yourself.
It goes 3 months with nothing at all, man. I come home, I enjoy. You're right. I do.
You're on home time. You're not operating no truck. You enjoy yourself.
I wouldn't think about it while I'm driving. Not even one thought of it.
That's the last thing you want to do.
And you're at home. You're being responsible. I mean, y'all are responsible. So, do you? We did that one. Look who's fashionably late. Peg leg is. Let's go ahead and drop the peg leg video right now so everybody knows to like and subscribe to this channel.
Hey everybody, hit that like button, borrow my leg to smash that ding dong bell. Oh, and if you ain't subscribed, go ahead and subscribe too.
Gotta love the peg leg. They all ran out. I'm just kidding. They might have. I guess they went to the bathroom or something. But peg leg, I appreciate you making that video. It's always funny. They're gonna come back. Definitely throw y'all's questions in here tonight, man. This is a real team truck. If you have company team truck questions, throw them in there. If you have lease team truck questions, throw them in there. We got Steve is an ace lease, so he has knowledge on ace lease. He has knowledge on a regular lease. He has knowledge on company driving. He has knowledge on team driving. He has knowledge on solo driving. Guy's kind of done it all. And he has a sweet looking truck. It's the one in the thumbnail. So definitely check that out. Oh, look, we got Steve back.
Oh yeah.
Does the dog go with you two?
Yeah. If only we could bring him on the truck, but I can't even imagine the headache of having a dog or two or a big dog on a team truck. It wouldn't work for us.
Matt and John did it.
Yeah. Well, Matt's in charge of his truck. He's got Margot, and well, they didn't last no 5 years.
Hey man, I'll tell you what, Ace back there, Ace has been in your room every day I've been on any type of video chat with you. Ace has been in there on your bed every single day. Like he owns that bed.
He's in it more than me, especially when I'm not here.
I couldn't do it with animal on the truck. Too much dog hair, all that stuff. I can't deal
The
with it.
hair, the food, the water, and stopping to keep letting it out. You know, when we drive, especially our half-hour breaks, you can look at our logs the past few years. 30 minutes, and we're gone. We don't hang around. When we switch, we switch. Once we get moving, I just hate stopping.
Oh yeah. Once I
How
start
do y'all feel about the adaptive cruise control and distant warning buzzer?
The radar.
Yeah. Well,
Senior looks like he wants to say something about that. You like it? Don't like it?
Who's talking about me or you?
You.
Me.
Yeah.
Senior.
I understand
Senior.
the purpose of it.
Yeah.
But with the
it's annoying.
experience we have, we're at the point where we can kind of say, I can do without it.
Right. I mean, unfortunately, it's there. We have no choice about it. It's on the unfortunate perks or de-perks. I
mean, it does have its benefit too. Yeah. What I like with it, it tells you what they're doing, and you do kind of use it like a crutch. Like, well, what's this guy over here doing? Creep over in the lane and go, oh, he's doing 1 mile an hour less than me or more than me. It gives you an idea of what everybody around you is doing too. But
Russell says, don't hold that bottle up unless we're getting paid sponsors. There's talk about the FMCSA introducing speed limiters on all commercial trucks in June of next year. What's your opinion?
On the governors.
Slow them all down to prime speed. How about that?
I mean, again, I see it, but at the same time,
it could be a problem.
It's more of a problem than a benefit, even to other cars, because you can't truly get the exact same speed on every truck. You already see that out there now, high and low ends of the speed. And even when it comes to us, if we got you even by half a mile an hour, we're going to get that extra half a mile.
We're going to try to pass you.
Yeah, it's in the long run, even at the end of the day, even if you got a 1 mile an hour bonus on someone, that's almost 10 extra miles for that day. But doing a national speed limit or something like that, that's going to cause way more problems. And it's bad enough. Even where we're set at, even though it's 65, it's okay. It's not bad. But you get yourself either into a situation or especially with loads when you get held up, where you're like, the 65 ain't cutting it. And you're riding those downhills to try to gain some extra time back. It varies.
Or the two trucks, all the trucks at the same speed. Could you imagine trucks trying to pass each other, max speed, and they're both side by side blocking traffic?
That's where it's going to come out on the hills. Like, okay, yeah, you're doing the same speed. Now you hit an uphill. Oh, this guy's lighter. Now you level out. Nobody's going to back down. And it's just going to create headaches.
It's a problem.
Do you have information about if you can lease to purchase with Prime and run your own authority while leasing?
I don't know too much about it. I've noticed a couple trucks on the yards that they do have their own authority. But from my understanding, the little I've heard from that aspect, they got to get your own authority, but you got to pay higher insurance. And I'm not sure what the prices are.
Why you're leasing? Like, can you do it while you're leasing?
Possibly.
Yeah,
I mean, you got to pay the money.
If you do it if you lease to purchase, can it be done while what we're doing basically?
You can't get your own authority if you're an Ace lease. I have one student that is doing it right now.
Really?
Yeah.
You do? Okay.
Yeah, as long as you're making the payment, they don't really care what you're doing. As long as you ain't causing problems. But yeah, being your own authority again has its perks. Some guys will do it just to get the governor removed and kind of run wild, but that might not be good for all people. I could think of at least one that could be a huge problem for, maybe two. But
But the main thing in it is that you actually work for yourself. My old student that has his own authority, he had to put in an application to hire himself to drive his truck. I mean, like there's a lot of stuff that goes into it. It's way too much to get into in one video. And some of the good things about it is that you have Prime cannot, once you get your own authority, Prime cannot random drug test you. You can random drug test yourself, but Prime cannot. I mean, there's like some advantages like that. A lot of small things that are better. A lot of stuff it varies.
Yeah, but how much more is it costing you, to have that freedom?
He's paying it because you have to. When you get your own authority, you're talking about finding some $1 million policy to cover the truck and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of money involved with
how
that.
much more is it costing you for that little bit more speeding a little faster or not having a drug test? What you got to weigh that out. I mean, is it really worth it? Those are things you got to think about. Because it could be a waste of a lot of money.
Now, what he was telling me is that so he's doing it right now while he's at Prime, because he said the longer that you have your own authority, the more your insurance goes down, because you're proving that you ran your own authority and you haven't had the accidents, and your insurance will start dropping.
Yeah, it shows you're confident and reliable that you can get the job done.
CSA scores.
Exactly.
A lot,
Yeah. Yeah, now running your own authority, I mean, I can see that for if you're trying to start your own fleet, get another truck, whatnot. Do like a fleet within a fleet of Prime. I would probably look into that, but I want to at least finish my truck payment first, just to cover the cost of it to get started, and then run it out from there.
See if it pans out.
And it would have its benefits. Yeah. But
it's got to be worth the money.
We're good where we're at for now because it's going good, and there's very minor headaches where we're at. So you don't need to fix a good thing.
Don't fix what's not broken.
Yeah.
Yeah, Greenwich says if they keep the governor's speed at 68 miles per hour, I'm good with it. I want those trucks to be able to get away from me. So he'd rather be outran.
Yeah. Whether you're doing 65, 58, 62, 58, you're always going to come across somebody that's going to be in your way one way or another. And it doesn't hurt being slower because, you ain't doing the passing. It's easier. They get around you. They just keep going. They're doing their thing. You're doing yours. It's just where the governors get in the way is when you got a lot of guys at the same governor riding it, and you're all falling in and out of each other on the hills, different weights, loads, riding the hills, and trying to just get around the next guy because this guy's going to drop 6 miles an hour on this hill. I only dropped 2. I can easily get around him on it, but you're boxed in, and you create the whole tailgating and trying to get around and maneuver. You got to read the traffic to know who you can get ahead of and stay ahead of. And a lot of guys know that, say you get somebody with a lower governor, you pass them, they know you're gonna pass them, but they still try to pass you anyway because they could beat you on the downhill by letting it ride, and it just makes them look stupid.
So who's in the right? Who should let who in front? Is it the guy going, because this is an argument I had for a while with a lot of people. Is it the guy that goes faster downhill or the guy that goes faster uphill? Who should be the one in front and who should be the one that just slows down and like, hey man, you got this?
Usually whoever can go uphill faster. Yeah. But then again, as long as when you level out, whoever's faster. Like, if you know you're lighter on the uphill, you don't need to be slowing down on an uphill. That only hurts everybody else, including yourself, with that momentum. At least when you're going downhill, you need to control your speed, because if you start pushing to get ahead, then you'll start getting out of control.
Yeah, going
I
up.
feel like we're in class. Steve Senior's raising his
Well,
hand.
what
Yes,
I'm-
Steve Senior you can go ahead.
What I'm trying to say, to me, what I experienced going on uphill, you gain more control going uphill because there are trucks that could drop down to 20, 25 miles an hour, going uphill while you're going 40 or 50, maybe even 60 or 70. But going downhill, you guys don't top much more than 70 or 75, so you gain so much by going, if you're light, uphill with the heavier loads going slower downhill, or just they're heavy, so they're going up slower. So
You can always make up speed on the downhill. You can't make it
right,
up on the
but
uphill.
when you're light going uphill, going downhill, you're not as fast as those heavier ones that are going to pass you going down, right? Because they're say like they got a 40,000 pound load and you got a 12,000 pound load. So you're going uphill, you're breezing right by him. You're gaining a hell of a lot more speed going uphill than they are downhill. That's I've noticed. That it's just that I think when it comes to both of you being 65, governed at 65, the lighter load outwins the heavier load without a doubt.
Yeah, there's more uphills than downhills.
Right. 'Cause
Yeah,
going
so
downhill,
whoever can make it faster up the hill should be the one in the front.
right. I believe so. Yeah. Because
That's what I believe too.
It'll take you forever. Like they're wasting time when they're trying to get ahead of you. Because next thing you know, uphill comes and
going uphill, sometimes those guys are so heavy they can only do 35 up the hill. You can do 55 up the hill, but when it comes downhill, they ride it out, man. They get it up to like 80 or something like that.
And you're doing
Completely unsafe.
70. How much? You're beating. All right, they're going uphill. You're doing 55, 60. You're only doing 25, 30. But when you're both going downhill, you're only about 10 miles apart. 10 miles an hour apart. Because he's going maybe 70 or 75 when you're doing 60 or 60.
When it comes to like the momentum, there's no need for you to have to slow down half your speed for no reason when you can easily just keep going.
I just
When it comes to a truck, momentum's the key factor. Just you're going to beat them on the hill, stay a little more left, and just it is more necessary to stay ahead to get away from the slow trucks. No point in coming up and going, oh, he's doing half my speed. Let me just slow down and sit right behind him. Why do that?
Yeah, pass.
Yeah, pass them.
Yeah.
Get out the way. Have you ever lashed out at an unruly student and banned them? I have never banned nobody, but if I had an unruly student, I'd have sent them home and not let them do any work. Best thing to do with an unruly student is let him come in, work for a little while. As soon as he gets that attitude or that, like, I know everything, send him home. And then let him come out the next day, and if he's still doing the same thing, send him home again. I have got on to my guys. Like I have lashed out and been like, hey man, you need to behave, blah, blah, blah. You need to get your head in the game. Like I'm a blunt person. I speak my mind and I tell them, hey, look, you need to get your heart into this. So yeah, I have. Greenwich says, I have lashed out at a student for refusing to listen, but it didn't ban them. Like I don't know what's to ban him, if that's kick him off the truck or what. Tennessee's out. Good night, Tennessee. Peg Leg said, we read that one, my bad. Dropped the GoFundMe in here before he left. What's your disgusting sandwich? What's he talking about?
Ask him. He's the one that wrote it.
What's your favorite?
Where they are.
Later, Hans.
How many are there?
And just,
Jacob says, do you hate your Qualcomm as much as me? It tries to take you strange routes. Second questions, if you don't follow the Qualcomm, what GPS do you use?
The Qualcomm ain't too bad. I usually prioritize it because we have a Garmin as a backup for whenever the Qualcomm goes out. If it tries to do a stupid update, shuts itself down when we're in the heart of a city and keep up with our exits. But I will prefer I'll prefer using the Qualcomm because it brings you to the location. Like it'll bring you to the gate where you're going in, the street you need. As long as you match it up to your macros, you match the directions to your Qualcomm, it's perfect. I do the Garmin as a backup and just to double check the Qualcomm. If I ain't got time to read the macro, I know this is where I'm going here and there, or at least I know I'm getting to the highway. And then when I do my break, I can see where I'm exiting in streets and all that. But
And trust me, Steve does his trip planning too before he leaves, and he uses Google Maps and stuff like that. I've known him for a long time.
Yeah,
So when
satellite
he's talking about GPS, he knows that he's already Google mapped it, seen where the gate is and all that, and he's just giving you the answer of the navigation. So don't think that he doesn't trip plan, because he's a better trip planner than I am. Like, that guy knows how to trip plan. I have him trip plan for me sometimes. I call him up, hey, what gate do I go in? Here's the address. He'll look it up on the map. He'll circle it, draw with a pencil on some stuff, send it to me. Guy's high tech. I don't know how to do all that nice stuff like that. Greenwich says, I follow the Rand McNally Atlas and make the GPS recalculate. And what I do is I say Rand McNally made the Atlas, so I use the Rand McNally. I use a Rand McNally. I use that for distance, and I use my Qualcomm for up close. Once I get about 20 miles from the place, I am all Qualcomm. Before that, I am Rand McNally, because what I found out is that the Rand McNally has always had the better, shorter route, it seemed like, or the better way to go. And then when I got closer to the place, the Qualcomm takes me right to their gate, just like Steve Jr. said.
Right. And now this is where the experience comes in, because been through Atlanta dozens of times, not hundreds, Los Angeles, Oakland, Dallas, whatnot. We know the loops, the shortcuts in a way. If it's, what time of day, like right now there's construction going on in Indianapolis where the 65 and 70 is closed in the inside, so they're forcing everybody on the loops. During the night, it's quicker to go through Indianapolis through the middle versus taking the loop all the way around. Sometimes the Qualcomm will say take the loop. Sometimes the Garmin says go through. With the experience, if it's the right time to go through or go around. And what helps going back and forth so much too, knowing kind of where you are, your highways, your roads. So if you ain't got the time to trip plan like you want to at least get moving and do it later. You make your way to the highway, and then you just kind of watch them link up and whatnot. And then you just keep going until you can do your half-hour break. And then you sit down and go over from there. Unless you ain't getting there for the day, then you just kind of keep going to where you think you can make it.
And Greenwich is right. He says GPS doesn't recognize road construction or accidents ahead of other known congestions. Yeah, and we also have our CBs. You have a CB in your truck?
Yeah.
Always on, or just on when you feel like it?
It's always on, but I keep the volume low just in case something comes to a slowdown, or you might catch them say like, hey, northbound, you got to slow down at mile mark or whatever. And you kind of hear those words and you reach up louder, grab it and go, okay, repeat that. What was that about northbound? Then they tell you, I kind of just keep it low because, you get a lot of chatter on the CB, especially on a team truck. The CB could be loud, trying to sleep, whatnot. So where I could just hear it. It's a good tool to have, especially when you're in traffic. You all come to a stop. It's 3-4 lanes wide. Let everybody come to a stop. Give it a minute or two. Nobody's saying nothing. Reach out and go, hey, what's going on up ahead? What lane's closed? What's blocked? Construction, whatnot.
Yeah. And it's great for like the fog in the winter and stuff like that, because you hear people screaming on there, shut it down, shut it down, shut it down, or traffic stop.
It's icy. You got wind. Yeah.
Yeah, wind.
It's a tool. That's all it is, at least to me. It's
No, it is. I agree. It's a good tool. It's a great tool to have.
Yeah, and if we're going to be in a truck stop overnight, especially at night, they just kind of shut it off for the night.
Big Country says, "What's up? What's up, boys? What's going on, big country? Jeff, I saw your comment earlier, brother. Congratulations on signing your lease tomorrow. I'm happy for you. Jeff's been coming out to the pad and hanging out for a while. Great guy. Awesome that you finished TNT. I'm happy for you, man. You get out there and make your own money. But Jeff says, do you still have to trip plan for tire loads twisted? Okay, almost all the tire loads that I haven't been to, I mean, most of the tire loads that I go to on a regular basis, I don't have to trip plan because I'm going to Duplo every time. I know that I'm going to go to Duplo. It's exit 9. Do that, drop that trailer there, pick up the new one, go up the road to exit 15. Go to the Loves, eat some food, Subway, come back. I know where I'm going, like Kansas City. I do that one all the time, 12th Street. I know that I'm going to take a left. Don't pull into their driveway. Take a left, go across the street. You got to back across the street in there. There's no room to do a U-turn in there. So, like, I know, like, most of the places I go on a regular basis, I don't have to trip plan for. If it's somewhere that I have not been before, I have to trip plan and I have to figure out the best way to go, safest way to go, where I'm going in the gate at, everything. So yeah, some of my tire loads I will trip plan for. Other ones I've been there a million times. Do y'all go to, being on a team truck, do y'all go to pretty much the same places over and over and over, or is it pretty much random?
I'd say 7 out of 10, it's the same places.
That much?
Usually. I mean, how many times?
I'd say 50-50.
That too. When it comes to Walmarts, how many times have we been to Colton?
Yeah,
Glenny?
but we still get new loads. So.
Yeah, at least every other week, you're kind of still heading somewhere new.
Yeah,
At least one of them.
Yeah.
Especially.
Depends on the dispatcher. If our dispatcher's like on vacation or it's a weekend, the fill-in has no clue of what he's doing or how.
Yeah, you'll get your
dispatcher.
weirdest loads on like night dispatch or weekend, or if your guy's on vacation, you're gonna get some different loads.
Right. But
So why is that?
I'm sure that's on dispatch and sales' end. They got their patterns and routines, and they know what works for their teams. Because I'm sure a dispatcher will want to send a simple load out going, oh, they're in this area. This load's here. That's an easy load. Get it done. Quick money. Then when you get the guys fill in, they have no idea. Like
no clue of our pattern.
Yeah. And when it comes to dispatch and sales, they kind of know the routes. They know when you're in this area, there's this going here. They're looking 3 or 4 loads ahead. When you got to fill in, they don't know what the next one's going to be. They just see, hey, this one looks pretty good. Just do it. And then when they get there, well, this one looks okay. Do that. It comes down to that too.
They're not looking ahead like your actual dispatcher would because they're just filling in. So they're just looking to get the space filled in. But your dispatcher's looking to make himself, along with us, the best money he could possibly make. Yeah.
Okay, so the money that y'all make on the truck, right? That affects your fleet manager's pay.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe they get commission on the revenue as
We
well.
think
The more we make, the more he makes, basically.
Right. Yeah. I'm pretty sure it is.
So it's scratch my back, scratch your back.
Mostly,
Right.
yeah.
Right. But he knows he can rely on us. All depends how reliable you are.
Yeah.
And we are. We're between the both of us. He's there almost 5 years, over 5 years. How long? Whatever it is. He's maybe just over 5 years. I'm there over 4 years. We have not had a late delivery, or a hiccup, or really.
We're still on time certified,
Yeah.
accident free, all that.
Right.
We're both around the corner. Even with you, around the corner for 1,000,000 miles.
Right.
Accident free.
Right. So after all these years, there's, no, I guess our CSA scores really well. No accidents. So we're pretty reliable, get the job done on time. And that's what they look for.
Do y'all ever go up to Canada?
No, I've yet to see either border yet. Even though we got our passports, but
we can.
they can I think they'll give that more to the solo guys in those areas because no point sending a team into Canada. Even if you go into Canada with Prime, you don't go far. Right up in and then back out. Don't need to do that for a team.
So would you want to go to Canada with a load?
I'd like to, but depending which port we go through, it probably wouldn't be worth the headache with border crossing and permits. And then when you get into Canada, they use a different type of like DOT clock. You got to convert it and all that. And for us, I wouldn't see the benefit of trying to learn that and make it work just to go in and come right back out and probably not see Canada for another year or two. I wouldn't give it much thought.
How about the ports? How often does a team truck see the ports? For TWIC card usage. How often do y'all use your TWIC card?
I think I've only used mine once, and I was on a solo stretch, and that was in Jersey. So, I did one in Florida too. So I've only been to ports twice. Both times I was solo.
Yeah, I went in solo to the ports in Jersey, somewhere in Jersey, and I picked up some bananas, and it was.
Yeah, I did that in Gloucester City, right across from Philadelphia. Bananas
he went
too.
by the ports, though. It was up by Elizabeth and all.
Well, that's if it's the East ports. I was on the Delaware on those ports. And if you're in Jersey City and all that, then you have those ports. But I know I did Gloucester City. I did bananas. I did bananas at Palmetto Port, right by Bradenton. But yeah, as a team truck, you don't see too many ports, and if you do, you don't go in far enough. It'd probably be a drop and hook.
Yeah, I don't like that they want us to get that TWIC card because, I was looking at the price. See, and Greenwich opened my eyes to something today. But whenever I was there, it was all like, if you don't got a TWIC card, then you have to pay like something like $50 to get in. Well, your TWIC card's like 150, 170 or something like that. You got to pay for that thing. And I was all like, man, I'd rather just pay the fee because I'm only in here once a year. So I'd rather just pay the $50. That's a lot cheaper than paying for the rest of it. But Greenwich was telling me today, he's full of knowledge. He said, man, just wait. Some of the ports you go to, some of them are $500 to get onto that port without a TWIC card. And I was like, oh, wow. But you have to pay them because if you don't have a TWIC card, you have to be escorted is the deal. If you have a TWIC card, you don't have to be escorted. They can pretty much say, hey, you go around that building, turn left, boom, park right there, whatever. And if you don't have a TWIC card, you're not cleared. So they're going to have to, escort you in and everything. What's your guys' favorite truck type and engine? What's y'all's dream truck? What's your dream truck?
That's you.
He said, that's you. I'm retiring. Yeah. I'm not.
Mine is the one that runs cheapest. Okay. I'm out there to make money, so that's up to him.
Your dad said get an international, Steve.
What? What do you think?
I said you said get an international. They're cheaper.
Hey, cheapest way out to make the most money.
That's just got wheels and rolls. But I know we did a Freightliner, and I mainly did that because Prime deals mostly with Freightliners. You're not in a dealer as much with a Freightliner as you are with a Peterbilt International, mostly Peterbilt. It's cheaper to work on and cheaper to rebuild the engine. It's a small investment, good choice for what we're doing now. But if I had my choice of truck, all that down to the engine, I'd like to get I'd probably do it if I go back solo in the future. A Western Star 5700 with a DD16. Yeah, at least a 13 speed. Help up in the winter and the mountains and all that. That would kind of where I would lean. But I wouldn't go too crazy with chrome and all that. I don't care much about the shininess of it. I just like the style of that 5700 and the bunk space kind of gives you a nice little bubble to the bunk. It's kind of cool, unique. Especially like with a team truck, you got to maximize space, storage, all that. And when it comes to the Freightliner, at least when we started, Freightliner had the most space inside between the cab and the bunk. But yeah, I would do a Western Star, DD 16 and 13 speed, be nice. But yeah, Freightliner is basically a cheaper Western Star, so it'll do for now.
Yeah, I think now I might be wrong, but I was pretty sure I read somewhere that all the Western Stars trucks, whether they use the shell of a Peterbilt to Kenworth, whatever they use the shell of, and they extended. I read an article one time that said that they're all Freightliner engines in there.
Well, they're all Detroit. Yeah,
Detroit, yeah.
Detroit deal. Yeah, well, you could put. It's not a Western Star engine and a Freightliner engine. It's either Cummins, Detroit diesel,
Detroit.
or even Volvo's got their engine. International has theirs.
You
Caterpillar.
can't get a Cummins put in Western Star?
Oh, you could. There's nothing like one of those X16s or 15.
But they were saying that it's only that Detroit in it.
Nah, I know you can get a Cummins. You should be able to get a Cummins and a Western Star. You can do pretty much any engine in any truck. Now it's just what are you willing to pay to put it in?
Yeah. Russell says, "Do you do flower loads?"
Those are one of the ones that fall under the rejection list, just because it's honestly not worth it on the lease side. That's more of a company job. Yeah, you get paid extra for doing it, but lease, not so much. We were told being a leaser, the flower loads pay more. They don't. They pay bare minimum for revenue, and it takes longer to do it because you got to manually unload a lot of it. Even though it's a team, you think it's helpful, but when you're doing shifts, you're getting to unload flowers at midnight. Are you going to wake up out of bed, go unload 2 or 3 pallets of flowers, stack them, count them, and then go back to bed and then get up in 5 hours and drive? Nah, it's just floral on a team, not worth it. But we've done it a few times to try to give them that benefit of the doubt, going, oh, is this going to pay good? And I think we've done 4 or 5 florals altogether, and 1 was good. That was it. And we had to they gave us an extra $1,000 just to do it.
I mean, it's cool and everything, but it's just, it's not worth the money.
Yeah, because the last 2 florals we did, I only agreed to it because they were no touch. We went to Miami, picked up out of that floral yard down to Miami, brought it up to Pearson, let them rework it, and then we bring it to 1 or 2 final stops where there were guys waiting to unload it. From what we heard recently, the floral loads, they don't really let the drivers unload them anymore. So I'm curious to see now if we do another floral, if it is what they say, because the last 2 times we did do it, we didn't touch it. Right. So that I don't mind.
This is what I heard. Like, this is rumor. What I heard on the floral loads, the way that they are now is we're not unloading it, but you show up to these places and you have these little old ladies that work in the flower shops and stuff, and they're the ones that they want to unload it. And so you end up just being like, oh man, this old lady, I'm gonna help her out. So you're the one that's unloading it.
Yeah, it could be, we haven't experienced that yet, but
because the last 2 florals we did, they went to docks where they had
pallet jacks and pulled it off.
Yeah, they did do it themselves.
The actual unloading like we used to do, they said that is not happening anymore.
Yeah. Like going.
I didn't like unloading that stuff. You had to make sure all the labels were facing the same way. The boxes were facing the right way. They had to go on pallets.
Yeah, they had the customer say, you got to put it right here this way.
I didn't do that. Whenever I did my flower load, I was just throwing that stuff in there, man. I ain't even gonna lie. I made sure all the boxes were set up and they were all looking good. As for finding a pallet, I didn't do that. As for all the labels facing the same way, man, I didn't do that. I was all like, man, this is too hard of work to be doing all this extra stuff.
Right.
I said, what the worst they're going to do to me? Ban me from flowers? Do me a favor.
Yeah, because there were some florals we've had in the past. That one in Cleveland was fun. Blind.
Yeah, I mean, it's it's fun and different, but again, when you want to balance out the pay, it's not worth the pay. You know, you can do it because it is kind of fun. You get up there, you climb in, you unload the boxes, and especially after hours, they got the lockbox on. You're on your own.
Scavenger hunt.
Some of them are side streets where you actually, you know, you got to use the street to back into.
You're going into
tiny
towns
places.
and
Yeah.
cities
Yeah.
to a shop that
I mean,
don't have a
it's-
dock or nothing.
It's different than the average going to a Walmart or
It's not like a
Safeway
distribution
right, yeah.
or a unload
Yeah,
facility.
but
You're going
it's
to a
garage doors.
shop.
You go to one garage door
Yeah.
or side door that you got to back into, then climb up to the trailer, pull them all to the back of the trailer, then get them out, get the wagon that's in the refrigerator over there, and wheel it in. You know,
And then relock up the place and
Right.
arm it if they got an alarm.
right?
Oh
It's just-
yeah, and it's color coded. So if you miss one box that's the wrong color, and you get to the next place, you gotta go all the way back and take that box.
Yeah.
We had to do that on ours. I was like, oh man, we gotta go all the way back.
that sucks.
Yeah.
I wanted to just throw it out the truck. Like, what do you mean you're missing one? Like, I was all like, nah, I got to do the right thing. We're going back. So we went all the way back to drop off a box. It was horrible. It's dark in those trailers, and it's in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You want to get to those places in the middle of the night so there's not any traffic. You don't have to have any struggle. So you're in there with a flashlight trying to get them all. We missed one, and we had to go back to the place. It was not fun. Do not go through Windsor. Always try to get Port Huron. If you tell the customer early, it's their decision.
Tell customs early.
Yeah. Man, I'm horrible at reading. I'm surprised I read the other one.
Have
There
a
you go,
beer.
Steve Sr.
Huh? What do you say?
What was that?
I said, you're better at reading it. Go for it. Read it.
Oh, do not go through Windsor. Always try to go to Port Huron. If you tell customs early, it's their decision. I have no idea what that means, but I don't. Windsor in Port Huron. I don't even know where that is.
I know
Is that
it's a port.
Canada?
Port Huron.
Huron? Is that?
Sounds like Ohio or.
To me, it sounds like Washington.
I think he's talking about the ports up there, and he's
Whereabouts?
saying that the Windsor port's probably not good to go through. Go to the other one.
Always go to Port Huron if you tell. Yeah, customs. So customs is the border, right? I mean,
Yeah, dealing with all the stuff coming through, the ships and stuff.
right.
I don't know if it was talking floral or if we're back on the Twic subject.
Back on the Twix subject.
Oh, okay. Never used Twic.
Yeah.
Never.
I've only had to use mine twice.
It's coming on 5.
Oh, that's for Canada loads going to Toronto.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, we don't do that.
Yeah.
Not yet. Anyway.
Right now, that's Canada's problem.
Yeah, I don't mess with Canada. I've never taken a truck and trailer into Canada. I don't even got my passport because I don't want to do a load to Canada.
I'm sure you could say no to that, even being company.
I
don't have a passport, so I don't have to go.
As far as
It's
I
like,
know.
to this day, after everything that's been happening, we're still going through Canada. That's what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Well, when we did that repower at that floral out of port, well, that guy was going to Canada. But they have a
That's
Canadian
right.
driver that comes down and
Yes,
picks
that,
it up.
that was on the West Coast.
Just like in Laredo, they got Mexican loads that, they have somebody come in from Mexico, pick it up, and go back over.
If we bring it to the border, they pick it up.
That's big with Laredo. We did it.
Hey,
Yeah, that one.
they got a new drop yard in Laredo, from what I heard.
I think, yeah, I've been there. It's a little deeper in off the 35. It's kind of like a shared lot, kind of like how Dallas is. It was really weird there. You got to go in, skip the guard shack, and go to these containers that they made makeshift offices out of. Kind of cool, but yeah, it was weird when I had that because they had me go there, and they got to inspect the trailer, go over it, and then you go deliver. Yeah, it's something
Is
different.
it better than the old one?
I'd say so, yeah. I mean, the old one, it had its benefits. This one looks like it has some good benefits. They still got bathrooms and showers from what I saw. This newer one, I think, looks a little more organized.
Yeah. I wish you didn't ask about the flower loads. You're causing me to have PTSD from when I did them.
Now you know to say no to them.
Don't do them anymore. That's all. Just don't do them anymore.
Yeah, don't do them. Man, that flower loads, man, they were something else. And then they gave us a bad load after a flower load, and I told them, I was all like, "Look, I've been up all night. I'm going to bed. Don't even tell me nothing. I'm taking a 34-hour reset because they gave me a bad load. It was a weekend guy. My fleet manager came in the next day. He was all like, "Boom, here's your load." It was a good one too. So I was like, I'm glad I said I was tired. Because I was driving the day shift, and my teammate, he was waking me up to help him unload. And, we're a team. I told him to help me, wake me up to help him. Yeah, those flower loads suck.
Yeah, they screw you up a bit.
Yeah.
Troy area in Ontario, Canada. Yeah, I don't know nothing about Canada, man, really. Have y'all been to the new has the new Denver yard opened up, and have y'all been to it?
Not yet.
No, we were actually at the old Denver yard maybe a month before they closed it down. Maybe 2 months. We just did a local up there. But as far as I know, I didn't hear anything about a new yard yet. I know when they switched over the Fontana yard, they changed that up a lot.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I like the new way there, but I kind of miss the old way. But yeah, no, we ain't even. I think we've only been back to Denver once since they shut the yard down. But we were in and out real fast. No, I'd like to see a new yard there because it helps not going to that TA or
They just
Flying
opened
J. Did they?
Yeah. Didn't you get the message?
Hometown only been open yet.
Yeah. We have New York. Only about
He's on home time. He ain't thinking about working.
who is? I mean, who is?
I guess you are because you check the messages.
Well, I just happen to be looking. Clear them. I clear the messages.
Yeah, because we even on home time, you still get do your macro for APU hours.
APU hours. You still get your news,
Yeah.
your newsletters or your news. Your.
Yeah, I only look at it when I get an
travel news.
alert. Other than that, I forget I even have it. I'm on vacation. I forget about work.
What? How about that new yard in Illinois,
Oh, Manuka?
Manuka.
Manuka? There we go.
Either.
Ain't been in it yet. I mean, not really looking to go into it unless they get some fuel bays. Maybe it might be worth to stop in and check it out, but we've just kind of passed it. Yeah, 'cause if we park anywhere around Manuka or Chicago, we'll plan to park away from that whole area. It's all just too congested. The yard is a good idea. I would like to see it, but
More for tankers, though, ain't it?
yeah, I heard when they were building it, there was going to be more for the tankers.
Yeah, from what I'm hearing, it's mainly tankers.
Yeah, it's like their little hub.
In the Chicago area, I've always tried to park in the service plazas. I've never tried to park in any truck stops over there. They're all horrible. Maybe the one with the Dunkin' Donuts in it in I want to say Elgin, but it's not Elgin.
Is it a TA?
No, it's a Pilot. There's a Dunkin' Donuts across the street at a no-name truck stop.
Yeah. Now, usually
know
when
why.
we're around there, we
Juliet.
Yeah.
Juliet.
That Pilot there's a joke.
I want to call it Elgin because where I'm from, there was a street called Elgin and then Juliet. So, I'm all like, I want to call it Elgin all the time.
That's funny. We had a load pick up and deliver from Juliet and Romeoville. That was a fun one.
Juliet and Romeo, nice.
Yeah. That's the whole point of it. Romeoville,
Romeo and
then you got Juliet. Yeah. But yeah, when it comes to anywhere around Chicago, we just try to get through it.
Yeah. No need to hang around.
Greenwich says it's not too bad. Manuka is not too bad. It's a safe place for parking.
The Greenwich is a prime employee.
Yeah, he's Mr. I've been here for a long time. Been trucking a long time. He's really knowledgeable. Great guy. His truck is paid off next month on the 3rd of December, I think you told me. So he's about to have his Ace lease completed.
Oh, great.
Truck is going to be his.
Great.
Super nice feeling, I bet.
Good news.
You both will be there pretty soon. Before you know it, time flies.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah.
It's faster.
Yeah, and that's what we were talking about. I was asking Greenwich the other day. I was all like, or I think it was Greenwich or Bob one. I asked him, I said, hey, I always heard as you get older, the time is shorter. Like your days are blinking, it's over with. You know, it's like when you tell your kids they're young and you're all like, you got to wait till tomorrow to do this. And they're all like, man, tomorrow's never going to come. Man, now that I'm older, like tomorrow is real quick. Like the days aren't long enough to get all the work I need done.
Gets worse. Trust me. The older people don't tell you, but it gets worse. Gets faster. You know, time just it flies by you. You know, the road ahead becomes shorter than the road behind you. You know, and you just wonder where all the time went. You really do. Because you're just busy trying to make a living, trying to support the family, trying to keep the family happy, trying to keep the family fed, you know. So it's maybe that's part of the factor. Who knows? But it's definitely true.
I'm just waiting until they all turn 18 and move out.
You think it's that simple? Okay. All right. You want it to be that way, but then again, you don't want to see your kids suffer neither. You know, so you want your kids to do well. So that's why I'm here to help him, you know.
Yeah.
You know, and you know, nothing, I have nothing else better to do. You know what I mean? So I'll make life a little easier for him. That's all I'm trying to do.
Yeah, you support them completely. And like you both motivate each other. I mean, like Steve probably told you, man, you tired of Coca-Cola? Come out here and try this trucking out. You know, I could see him trying to persuade you to try something else out. And like y'all pick up each other and y'all have a unique like father-son relationship that I'm sure a lot of people would love to have, like being that close to each other. I just think it's awesome how close y'all are. And you know, it's great seeing y'all together.
It works. It works for us, you know. Doesn't work for everybody, but it's just working for us. So you might as well run with it while it's working.
How many miles are you putting on the truck weekly?
Oof. Oh, jeez. Think about that one. 6,000?
Yeah.
5,000 to 6,000. Probably 5,000 to 6,000 a week.
Yeah, we signed the lease July 25th. And we just got home. Well, this Saturday would be
October,
2 weeks.
say October 25th. So
October
so
22nd.
July, August, September, October. 3 months. In 3 months.
Yeah, we're already at 64,000.
Yeah, over 60,000.
Yeah.
So split that by 3. It's about, you know, do the math. I mean, I got to do it real quick, but so let's see, so 60,000, 3 months,
And that's on the low end too, because when we
Yeah,
came out,
so-
it was kind of slow in the beginning.
Yeah, it's been slow. Yeah, we were getting the truck fixed or getting the kinks worked out of it. Had a slower 3 months, but for the 3 months it was about 60,000, which makes it about 15, about 20,000 a month.
It's about 55 to 5,500 miles a week.
Yeah.
That's what we averaged this time, and that was a slow.
Slower.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause normally when we're out, we just run because we'll go out 3 months at a time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll stay out for 3 whole months, sometimes 2.5.
But we did a lot of sitting this time. So
y'all stay out for 2 or 3 months at a time and then take how long off?
2 or 3 weeks.
at
2
minimum.
or 3 weeks.
Yeah. We go home to like a vacation, not a day off.
Yeah.
Like a lot of solo guys, they'll go home, try it every weekend, every other weekend. They'll
Not
shoot
worth
for
it.
that. because of where we live, being in Florida and all that, it's not worth going. You're kind of going out of the way to go home and then back out again. It's not like you could just pass through. If we were more like center of the country or along the 40 or 80 or something, you know, you could just pass through. Then it ain't bad. Stop home real quick, easy in and out. To get home, we're going out of the way from everything. And floral is what we dread coming back out.
Not much freight coming out of Florida.
Yeah, especially not good paying freight either.
Right. You have Tropicana that pays garbage, and that's what we get.
Yeah, lately we've been actually deadheading up to Georgia to get something.
Up the Shaw.
He says, "Damn, making the old man do math. Shame on you." Well, guys, we are pretty much going to get out of here for the night. We're going to end this live because I got to get up early. I got a tire load to get onto. Steve, thank you for sharing all your knowledge of trucking with us and letting us know about a team truck, lease, company driver, lease driver. You know, y'all were really a big inspiration to a lot of people out here that might be thinking of coming out here doing a team truck. I do appreciate y'all coming out and helping me out with the channel and everything. Y'all got anything y'all want to tell everyone before y'all leave? Any advice on the way out?
I guess just, you know, winter's coming. Watch out for the weather. You know, it's changing. It's going to get icy, snowy. And especially when you're going through cities and stuff, you just got to keep an eye on the traffic. Watch what everybody else is doing. But when it comes to the company and getting a truck, you know, if you sign a lease and you're leery about it or whatnot, your best case scenario is just see it through. Just keep going with it. And if you feel like you're slacking in it, you know, try to reach out to other lease drivers, and especially the dispatcher.
Just don't give up, you know?
Yeah. It does get better.
It does get better. Yeah, it just don't give up. You know, you have your ups.
Do research and always push through it, no matter what. Right?
Don't give up. Just don't give up. I mean, it's a great industry, plenty of work. It'll never stop. You know, trucking is in demand, so it's a guaranteed job that'll last you for as long as you want it to last.
People got to eat, so we're always going to be moving. But like, comment, and subscribe. Thank you all for showing up tonight, and we are out of here. Until next time.